What is up, guys? My name is Coriola, and welcome to episode 53 of my Out of the Park Baseball 17 franchise here with the Kansas City Royals. And we are here at the 2032 midseason, about to go in the draft. But first, I'd like to present to you what is on the screen right now. Right now, what you see is a horribly lopsided trade towards the Kansas City Royals. It is giving up Corey Munson, who, now that I look at it, isn't really that good a pitcher. Only 60 stuff. Kind of the bar with the potential deceived me a bit. I didn't look too into it. He's not having a terrible season, but ERA-wise, but his walks are ridiculously high. His strikeouts are ridiculously low. 3.8 walks for a guy with 65 command, when that's his best, makeup stat. And only less than 4 strikeouts per 9 innings and a 228 BABIP. Yeah, that's not a very good pitcher. And then Federico Zepeda, who is a prospect who does not look too promising. He's got decent contact potential, decent avoid strikeouts potential, which are two very important stats. Good speed, decent fielding, but terrible every other hitting stat, which does provide some concerns. He does have 2.5 stars potential. I'm willing to trade him. In return, we got Kyle Bateman, top prospect. He was a 7th round draft pick in 2029. Now he's, according to Head Scout at least, looks like a very good pitching prospect. And then even bigger pitching prospect is Tony Guzman. Decent makeup, even better pitches. I believe he number 28 prospect in the MLB. What about, I didn't check, Bateman. He is not a top prospect. Sorry, I lied about that. But I really like his potential, and we're not giving up too much. David Terry, another good kind of throw-in prospect, good speed, good defense, another third baseman, and then Manny Soto, who I think is probably, if these ratings pan out, the top pitcher that we are getting, and he is the 59th prospect in baseball. And right now, as you can see, this trade is not working. We could make it work. Let's see what they'd want us to throw an answer. They don't want anything. No one could make this trade work on our team, but for some reason Ricky Ruiz is so terrible that they will give us all these prospects to take him off of their hands. He is a decent first baseman, is not having a good hitting season since he got claimed from Oakland. But our first baseman right now is Steve Waddell, who's doing decent, but not great. Only 2 home runs from our first baseman, and I know he's not a power hitter. I wasn't expecting a lot from him. I was still expecting more like Gleyber Torres type production, we did get ridiculously good production from Gleyber Torres. So it shouldn't be a surprise we aren't able to repeat that with Steve Waddell. But he's got options left. We could send him down, bring in Ruiz, see how he works, get 3 really good pitching prospects and a good infield prospect in the deal. I'm going to pull this off right now. So Corey Munson, signed him last episode. Next episode, turning him into some top prospects. And let's go over the team. We're going to put Danny Cabello in as the 5th starter. And for just... Okay, please go. And for just a second, we're not going to call up anyone else to be in the bullpen, but that's because I've made a bunch of minor league offers to some relievers, and we are going to put the top one in the majors as soon as they accept. They will in a matter of seconds, as soon as we simulate the days. But now we've got the draft. But before we get into the draft, I'd like to take a look at the stats. I almost forgot to do that. Pitching staff, Takeda, 348. 64 innings pitched. Danny Ventura, 455. He's a free agent after the season. We're going to consider getting him an extension, but it would not be for too much. And I think right now, $12 million over 4 years is a bit too much. I guess it's $48 million. Kenny McDonald, 3.88 ERA. He's having a pretty solid season. BABIP is a bit high, which is actually good for him, meaning he'll likely come back down. Alex Castro, he's having a solid season. Not great, 470. But he's got decent peripherals. High BABIP, which means he could come down a bit. Walks could be lower, strikeouts could be higher, home runs could be lower. But I'm not really complaining with. And then Cabello in the bullpen in 40 innings pitched has a 3.63 ERA, good strikeouts, decent walks. Bullpen, Jensen is having a fantastic season, 137. Lovas and Severson kind of struggling a bit, 5.53 and 4.50. Torres is having a good season, 2.57. Alanis is not, 4.81. And Miguel Lara is having a great season so far through 5 innings. He has not given up a run through 5 innings. Just called him up recently when we have to take a look at the DL. We lost Colby Allard. He had a 3.86 ERA through 11 innings pitched. We called up Lara to replace him. Jeremy Canterbury also got injured, which is a shame. He was hitting 274, 343 out of the leadoff spot. He had good production for us, but let's look at the rest of our lineup. Denny Velasquez has seamlessly replaced Canterbury in the leadoff spot, hitting 320 with a 353 on base. No home runs, but he is getting on base at quite a high pitch. In the 2-hole, Brian Swarm is matching his Colorado production. 288 average, 341 on base, 8 home runs. Jonathan Ramirez, MVP level stats from him. Maybe not in the home runs, but definitely in the average and on base. 337 average, 458 on base with 8 home runs, 34 RBIs. Alejandro Lopez regressing just a slight bit from last year. 276 average, 329 on base, 6 home runs. Momosuke Okazaika, 242 average, 301 on base, 9 home runs. John Castaneda, a bit disappointing, 230, third time's the charm, 273 on base, 7 home runs. Waddell, as you saw, 242, 300 on base, only 2 home runs. Tony Alcala hitting out of the DH spot, 265 average, 315 on base, no home runs. And Johnny Rankin, his ratings gone down. He's still hitting really well, though. 348, 3 home runs, 355 on base, which is quite low and is slightly concerning. On the bench, Guardado, 222, 282 on base. Evan Nichols, 245, 241 on base. Tim Adams was just hitting over 300. Now he's down to 239. And Mike Kubaki is hitting 600 in 5 at-bats. All right, let's head over to the first-year player draft. 7th overall pick. Division rivals picking first overall. This draft class, not too strong. The best player, in my opinion, let's see, was it McCann? Not McCann. It was Tyree Robinson. He just looks like the most solid overall player. He's probably going to go before our pick. Minnesota, number 1 overall, takes Bart Kapalko, a shortstop. I do want a shortstop, and there are some pretty good shortstops. This is actually quite a surprise. I was not expecting them to take him. 2nd overall, Pittsburgh goes with Mike Petrovich, who I thought was going to be the number 1 overall pick. Good pitcher. He's got 6 good pitches. He is fragile, which is probably why Minnesota didn't take him, and out of high school. But he is a 19-year-old lefty with great potential. So Minnesota might swing and miss on that one. And this is a guy, Tyler Reimer, who my head scout doesn't like, but I would have taken if he had fallen to us. My chair is really squeaking, I'm sorry. He just looks like a very, very good pitching prospect coming out of college, I believe. Tyree Robinson, that's the guy I like, goes 4th overall to San Diego. Who knows, with going to the Padres, we'll probably be able to trade for him eventually. And Bill McCann goes to Toronto. This is the guy I want. And Arizona takes Henry Allen, a center fielder. So, yeah, I just said it a second ago. Dude already has 1.5 stars overall, according to our head scout, Joseph Connors. He looks like prototypical leadoff shortstop. The big red flag with him is that low eye and discipline, which is probably going to go, which is probably not going to reach that ceiling of 50. I'm sorry for my chair. Which is probably not going to reach that ceiling of 50, generally when the power and eye at the same time have mediocre potential and low current, that's a sign that neither of them is going to turn out well. But he looks like, basically, at worst case scenario, he turns into an Alcides Escobar. Like, that's worst case scenario, in my opinion, from these ratings. So we are going to take Joseph Connors 7th overall in the draft. And now I've got my list with me to do the rest of the draft. So we will draft Joseph Connors, meet his demands, and move on to round number 2. Sean Erickson was a guy I might have considered taking, but again, that eye and home run, both power, look like neither is going to turn out well. So, at second round pick, this is probably a reach here. And I just mentioned being afraid of this, but Dante Usher looks like a great outfield. I'm kind of changing my mind here. I had him written down as a guy I wanted to take second round, and now I'm kind of changing my mind. Yeah, I've changed my mind. I'm going to take Joey Tuttle instead. I'm sorry, Dante. It's just I kind of realized what I was saying. I guess I hadn't realized that when I last checked. So we'll take Joey Tuttle in the second round. Another decent shortstop prospect. Third round, we're taking another infielder, Deshaun Baptiste. Looks like he could turn out to be a Gleyber Torres type hitter. And his high current eye is what I'm looking, which is what really stands out to me in him. We'll take him in the third round. Fourth round, another shortstop, Aaron Digert. Now, he looks like he can play a bunch of different positions, just be a jack of all trades hitting, if it turns out the way it looks like. Kind of like a John Castaneda type player if he reaches that potential. I've not been a good drafter in this series. I've had one first round pick that's worked out, and that was Alejandro Lopez. Hopefully, Nowicki, it's still up on the air on him. So I've not been a good drafter this class. My manager rating's gone down from legendary. I was looking at it in one of my old episodes. It's gone down from legendary to good. We haven't made the playoffs in 6 years. Time to change that. Oh yeah, by the way, we're 32-23. Forgot to mention our team record. 1 game out of the division. So, 5th round, we're going to take, guess what? Another infielder, Chad Hartman. He's a second baseman, can play a lot of places. Again, hoping he turns into a Gleyber Torres type hitter. There are just not a lot of good pitchers in this draft. Don Smith's probably the guy I would take a risk on, but the fact that he has 0 command, or 20, I guess, or third pitch as of right now is a bit concerning. 6th round, we are going to go with a pitcher, and this is a bit unorthodox, but this guy, his name was spit out in some head scout recommendations, and I like him. His name's BJ Larson. Does not look like much at all, but I'm going to take a flyer on him. I like those 3 pitches. Ask me why. I have no idea why, but I trust my head scout, and so I'm going to take BJ Larson. 7th round now. We're going to go to the outfield and take Brad Stratton. He's another guy that the head scout recommendations spit out. And so I think he's going to turn into a decent power hitter in the majors with good speed. So I'm going to take him. I'm going to stop kind of explaining these picks. Just going to go through it, show you the guy. Tony Barrera is one of the impossible guys. Another good shortstop. If we can get 3 good shortstops out of this draft, if just one of them pans out, then we've done something well. We took a shortstop second, so 4 shortstops. Okay. Next pick is another infielder, second baseman, Ja Dugas. Those are his ratings. Again, another hopeful Gleyber Torres type player. Now, outfield. Adam Cami. The avoid strikeouts is a bit concerning, but the high eye/discipline I very much like right now. Next pick, round number 11. Another shortstop, but, I mean, this is kind of late round. Not expecting these guys to turn into much. Malcolm Rain. There you go. Looks a lot like Brad Stratton in the infield. Now, another unorthodox starting pitcher pick, but I'm trusting my head scout. We're going to go with Jason Gertz. At least I think it's pronounced like that. I think the OE turns into the sound. And if it's not, can't do anything about it because he's not a real person, so he can't tell me how his name's pronounced. Anyway, yeah, another guy spit out by the head scout recommendation. I'm going to trust him on that. We could always, in drafts like this where there's not a lot of pitching talent, just taking a pitcher is sometimes a good idea. He was right at the top, and I just clicked the wrong thing. David Salilna, high-power catcher with not great other things. I mean, he's just a poor man's Alejandro Lopez type prospect. Now, this is another starting pitcher, but of course, since they're all half-star, I have to scroll all the way down. I do have a list next to me of guys I want to take, which is, if you're wondering how I get this, Tony Vargas. I think he could turn into something. Next pick. Left fielder. I believe this guy is impossible signee. Our next one. Yeah, nope, this guy's not. Mike DeVilla, high power, decent everything else. Basically Alejandro Lopez in the outfield. And if you turn out with 70 plus power, regardless of what your other stats are, something is good about you. Now, another pitcher, Mike. Oh yeah, these next we're gonna take 3 mics in a row. It's kind of crazy. Just thought I'd mention that. Mike Brownlee. Movement is a concern, but he's got decent current stats, and so maybe he can turn that into some high production and something good. Now we've got first baseman Mike Connors. Decent stats all around. If that pans out, that's a good player. Next round, we've got an outfielder is not Fred Church yet. We're going to take him later, spoiler. It is Travis Price. That looks like the Gleyber Torres model. Down and then back out. Decent defense, decent speed. Good lefty hitter. This is my favorite late round pick. Now, we got 2 more rounds. Go to all players for this one, because these 2 guys will be right at the top. This guy is Paul Adair, another shortstop. Good defense. That's basically what I like about him. Why I'm taking him. And last, Fred Church. Good ratings. I'll take him. I'll pay him some money. We've got plenty of extra money. And with that, the computer will do the rest of the draft for me. I definitely get deeper into drafts when I plan it beforehand than when I just kind of wing it at the time. So I'm going to definitely keep doing that consistently. So now we've got negotiations. All right, Barrera is going to want 3.6. And Church will offer him 3.4. Any of these guys worth it? No. Well, how much do they want? No. Maybe. Sure. Offer you $1 million. If you accept that, you accept that. If you don't, you don't. Is that a 6? No, it's just because my mouse is there. All right. Okay. Not because we don't have enough funds. He just doesn't like it. All right. If he accepts $500,000, we're good. If not, we don't really care. And the last 2 guys we're not going to waste our time on. So we are one game back from Detroit. We are 3 games ahead of Cleveland. We have won we lost the first split. I'm not having a great day, to be honest. Split the doubleheader, so we are now only half a game back, meaning that Detroit lost, I guess. Is that how it works? Yeah. If we won, we'd have dropped back half a game because of the loss. And now we got 3 against New York. First one fall we get. These are all the guys I was talking about, and this was the guy I wanted to promote to Kansas City to be our 7th pitcher. Yeah, both these guys can do long relief. All right, cool. Game 2 against New York. We're a game and a half back now. Lose again. Now 2.5 back. So we get Baptist, Emery, Tuttle, and Joe Connors. Another Luis Cordova. We already have a Luis Cordova. This is just a 2-star potential prospect. And rubber match, can we avoid the sweep? It's every time I turn on the damn recorder. Recording software, not thing. We start losing for some reason. Now we've got 3 in Cleveland. Can we break out of the losing streak? Yes, we can. Take game 1, game 2. And this is probably pretty boring. Tony Barrera, this is an important one, accepts. Detroit's on a roll, though. We won, they won. We lost, they won. And we lose and they lose this time. So we're 4.5 games back. We fall to 3rd place. Not a complete game shutout. 8 2/3 innings. Anyone else? We got one more, Fred Church. And then we move on. Take game 1 against Chicago in Kansas City. Lose game 2. Win game 3. These guys. Oh, right. We had to do something about them. Huh. All right. Both of them added to the 40-man. Guzman to AAA. Ruiz. I might just DFA him. How's Waddell hitting? All right. I'm going to give Ruiz a chance. Yeah. I meant to do active roster. Don't get your... whatever. All right, there we go. It's a switch hitter, which is nice in our right-handed dominated lineup. Now we've got 4 against Detroit. Still waiting for... Church. Game 1. We lose. And Fred Church accepts our offer. So I'll see you guys back at International Amateur. All right, we are back at International Amateur Free Agency season. Sorry, my mouth is really dry from my cough. We are now 42-37, 6 games back of the division, but currently in the top wildcard spot. So, and if the season ended today, we'd make the playoffs. So, I was looking through some old episode, most specifically the one I signed Jonathan Ramirez, and now, when I thought about it, I couldn't really remember that episode too much. And that was the episode I forgot to record audio, and so it was just sped up. And so you guys didn't actually see my reaction to me signing Jonathan Ramirez, who could be the best player of this franchise. So, and then I looked at the episode I signed Denny Velasquez, and he looked basically like this. You know, kind of out of whack. And I've shied away from these players. But not anymore. If I've got decent players I can get, I'm going to get them, because these ratings are not very accurate for international amateurs. So, you just saw Alto and Rosas. I'm going to go after both of them. Offer double. Usually guaranteed to get them. So now we still have 1.5 mil to spend. So we could get a pitcher for not very much. Sure. It's 400K. All right. Anyone else interested in... I'll offer... Yeah. What about OSA favored guys? I have to go back to this every single time. I'll offer Carlos Soto a small deal. 100,000 over is not going to put me 5% over. I don't expect him to take it. I expect to get outbid, but might as well throw myself into the ring on that one just to see what happens. Who is that? A reliever of mine who I just signed. That's right. I was having a decent time. 3 runs through 8 innings. Not bad. But he's out for 7 months, so... Alright, gotta call up someone. Yeah, Felix Cordova. He's been a starter in the system for a while. Had some stints in the MLB. Yeah, he did have one last year. Hey, I'll bring him back up. See what he can do. Alright. There we go. Lose the first to Philadelphia. Lose the second to Philadelphia. And Brian Swarm gets suspended for 8 games. Fighting with Ricky, or was that really worth it? Pitching staff has been the issue. You can see, we did not have a top starter under... No one accepted an offer double. Really? Okay. Trainer, we'll talk about you later. Okay, no one accepted that, which is really surprising. Alright. The guy I want most is Rosas. I'll offer him that. Alto that. Chavez that. And Soto's probably out of my range now. Yeah. About Juan Mesa. Sure. If he accepts that, not going to be mad. If he doesn't pan out, that's $500,000 is not that much. And we get swept by Philadelphia. We are now 8 games back, only 2 games above 500. It seems like every time I turn on the recording software. So we get Rosas and Alto, but now Chavez and Mesa say no. So I want Chavez, so I'll offer 5.3. I don't know. That 2,000 just bothers me. And then I'll see with the other guys. We are now only 1 game above 500. Lost 4 straight. Back to 500. This team starts off strong and then starts plummeting. Tim Adams waited DFA when what's-his-face, Canterbury came back. So yeah, let's look at what's going wrong. Velasquez is dropping. Swarm's been out. Ruiz is doing well. Castaneda, it's gotta be it's the pitching. The pitching has just not been good. Can we salvage 1 game from this series? No compensation picks. That's not a surprise. We usually sign everybody. Nope. We are now under 500. 4 against Texas. Okay. Personal messages. Okay, so Chavez accepts the deal. We have 800,000 left. He's at 1.8. I'll see if Mesa wants some money. Let's take a look at our international. Wait, it's under here. Time to call up people older than 18. Bobby Sepulveda. Interesting name. Decent. He's got potential. I'm not on my A game today. Apologize. I'll blame it on being sick. It is because I'm sick. Alright, we salvage a game, end the losing streak. Take 2 in a row. That one in 10 innings. Mesa still saying no. We can still afford that. They'll put us... weirdly exactly at $3 million. If he accepts. So now we are currently 2 games out of the wild card. Maybe a pennant chase episode. Lose that one badly, 8-1. Last game for the All-Star, lose 11-1. Pitching, Juan Mesa still says no. And now, I'll go over 40,000. All right, do we get anyone in the All-Star game this year? There we go. Kansas City, we got Nick Jensen and Jonathan Ramirez. 2 very deserving players. Come on, how does Dave Chappell have... Probably because defense. He's probably pretty good at defense. Yeah, he's good at defense. Ramirez is not good at defense. Venture's not doing well. I don't know if I'm ready to bring him... if I'm willing to bring him back. Especially not on a 6-year deal. That's not happening. Soto to the Rangers. Trade deadline this year. I've already made the trade I want to make. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I missed putting preseason predictions and top prospects in the offseason episode. We were projected to finish 81-81. And we were the number either 2 or 3 overall organization as far as prospects. Either number 2. Now that I believe this is we were still number 2 before we got Guzman and Soto, but now we got a pretty nice, if I do say so myself, farm system, which I've not really had in this series. Jason Fox is doing well in Omaha and probably deserves a call up. But Rankin's hitting well. Because Swarm would only really play second. Instead of, he'd play short. Castaneda would play second in that scenario. So now we got 3 in Detroit. Win 5-0. Good pitching night for finally. Take game 2. Can we sweep Detroit in Detroit? We can. Danny Cabello had a good game. He's not a starter. Munson wasn't going to do great. Let's check out how Munson's doing. Beat Chicago 9-8. Beat Chicago 9-8 again. Beat Chicago 11-10. So 3 high offense games. Not a lot of pitching. Juan Mesa to Houston. I don't really care at this point. Let's check out Texas and see how... Okay, they're doing well. How's Corey Munson doing? He's doing well in their bullpen. Good for him. I got the prospects. So now we got Seattle. See, I don't think there's anything I really want to do at this point. And there goes Canterbury again. Maybe I want to get an outfielder. I don't think Guadalupe Acosta. Let's give Guadalupe a shot. He's not going to start. Ramirez to start, but we'll see what he can do in his chance in the majors. So we've won 8 games in a row. Can we make it 9? 3 straight sweeps? Hell yeah, we can. You know what this really reminds me of? The 2014 Royals, who were shit going into the break, and then they didn't do great coming straight out of the break, but after that, they went on a huge tear, made the playoffs, made the World Series. Right now, we are tied for top wildcard spot, a 3-way tie between Chicago and LA. New York is just a game back. But yeah, this kind of hot streak is reminding me of the 2014 Royals. 18 years later. We finally lose a game. Pitching still not doing well. Castro gives up 6 runs in 1 inning. Bounce back the next night with a 2-1 victory. Detroit wants to make a trade. I do like the guy we'd get. I don't like the guys we'd have to give up. Rubber match against Oakland. We win 4-0. Yuji Takeda had a nice night. He's not having a great season. We're now 9 games above 500. Now it's just us in LA. We are 5.5 back on the division, so that's still within reach. Now we've got 4 in Seattle. Take the first. Danny Ventura wants an extension. Let's start working on an extension for him. I'm not thinking 6 years. I'll do opt out after year 2. I don't really like giving him. If he opts in, I'll do that with him. No, yeah. I don't want to give you 6 years. Lose 3-2. At least it's not 11-2 like we've lost before. Lose 4-3 in extras, which is frustrating. Always frustrating losing extras. All right, scouting update. Torres down. Cordova up. Castro down. Allard down. Guardado up. Rankin down. Velasquez up. Adam J, top closing prospect, moves up quite a... He's going to be a pretty good reliever for us one day. All right. Stevens down. Cal Bateman moving on up. Get that control up to 55 before the end of the year, and you'll be in the majors. And that stuff up to 70. That's all I need to see. Sayuk down. Cordova up. Got to be drafted, right? I don't know. I'm going crazy. I'm definitely going crazy. That's not negotiable. I'm definitely going crazy. All right, last game. Trading deadline has passed. Rubber match against Seattle. We lose 3-2. So we lose 3 one-run games in a row. That's frustrating. But is it more frustrating or less frustrating losing 11-1? 3 games in a row. You guys be the jury of that. We are currently in the wild card race, so I think a potential pennant chase episode is in order this season as we look to make it back to the playoffs. This offseason, we're definitely adding pitching. That's definitely something we're adding. But other than that, hope you guys did enjoy. Made a nice trade. Got some more good pitching prospects. Our farm system's looking pretty nice. With Jay, Bateman, Guzman. Morales is a starter. Just doesn't want to acknowledge him as a starter. Joseph Connors is hitting .262 in single A. And his discipline potential's already dropped by 5. That's kind of what I was worried about. Anyway, other than that, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.